Alright, I want you to show, not tell. I want you to write visually. Take the reader into your mind's eye. What? So, I'm Carl T. Rogers, story philosopher, an award-winning writer and director with years of experience, here to guide you as you grow into a better screenwriter. In today's video, I want to give you some grad school level tips to help you actually do what all of the gurus talk about doing. Writing visually. Okay? And it's easy to say, but it is hard to do. So, here's how to actually do it.
Writing visually. Now, when you write things that are visual, it's more than just description. You're trying to envision things with empathy. I don't mean that in a touchy-feely way, I mean that in a way that you are in the mind of your characters, so that you see things the way they're seeing it, and that comes through in the page in an external, visual, concrete manner. Instead of saying, close up, we see Alice open the purse to reveal a revolver, you just imply that with the way that you word the sentence. And so here are some more tools that you can use to write visually to indicate those kind of things, not only so you can avoid using camera angles, but also so that your script is as immersive as possible. Describing the visual with a layer of emotion. There's also different methods of speech you can use to write visually, like using metaphors or similes to compare things. A metaphor is when something stands in for something else by comparison. And a simile is a similar type of comparison, but using the words like or as. You can personify things by giving life to things that aren't actually alive. An example of that would be, I said, the planes and cars hid in tarps, lying in wait. Cars don't hide or lie in wait dangerously, you know. We're personifying, we're giving human-like qualities to something that's not human, but that is a way to write visually to bring something alive in a concrete way. Focus. You're highlighting a particular element to infer shot composition. It's like the revolver in the purse. You don't say close up, we see. You highlight a particular element. You focus on the purse. Focus on the revolver. Focus on a hand. Punchline. You set up something and then reveal it. That is a good way to be very visual because life sometimes operates that way. You experience things in life where you think one thing's going to happen and then you see something else happen. You expect something and then there's a reversal. Or there's a redirection where the expectation that you had is subverted. That's also a common experience in life. And these both can be very visual. It would be better to have this visual punchline and this visual redirection than to try to abstract it. Last thing is sensory language, but especially not just all your senses. The main one I want you to focus on is oral language, some type of sounds and onomatopoeia. If someone is making a sound, that doesn't go in dialogue. So if someone says, ah, you're not going to put Bob and then ah. You're going to say Bob screams. That's going to be much better than trying to put his scream into dialogue. But even more than that, using sounds and onomatopoeia helps bring a film to life in a way that is not visual but can still be conveyed through words in a way that your reader will appreciate. So that's what 50% of a movie-going experience is, right? It's going to be all the sounds, the immersive soundscape. And so you can really take advantage of that. Even though you think, well, that's not visual, that's what you hear. Since this is all about writing and making things come to life on the page, sounds are another way to do that. Now, let's look at some examples. Imagery. She pulls back her fist. He doesn't flinch. These are things that can actually happen. You can film, but moreover, they imply emotions. Instead of saying, she's so angry she wants to hit him, but he's not afraid of her, you do this. This is stronger imagery. She pulls back her fist, but he doesn't flinch. Comparison or sarcasm hits him like a ton of bricks. That can imply the effect that her words have on him in a way that will then be portrayed through the performance. Personification. The cave's gloomy entrance yawns before them. Depending on the context, that could be really creepy or it could be funny. But either way, caves don't yawn, but it brings to life an image of a cave's opening. Focus. Their hands meet. Instead of saying, close up, they hold hands, you say, their hands meet. And then you go to the next line to space it out, to expand it, to provide tension. You have a punchline. It's not her blood, ... It's his. And see, we're using an ellipsis. to help emphasize that punchline that we set up. Redirection. Smiling, she opens the door, dash dash. So we have an abrupt reaction and then a reveal. It's a reversal, but there's no one in the room, being the opposite of what she expected. And then aural. His yell tears through the clearing. This is also some personification because yells don't actually tear things. So yes, it is personification. But this explains a level of intensity and effect of the sound in addition to explaining what the sound is. And that lends back into your tone, into your story. Now, all of these are tools that you can use, and normally there's multiple ways to do this. So instead of saying, medium shot, the vase has fallen over on the table, spilling their contents everywhere. Instead we say, the spilled flowers, the empty table. By just those short little fragments, that gives us the images we need, because those are the images that tell the story. The flowers have been knocked onto the floor, the table is empty of the contents that were there, that were important to the story and to the person that's seeing it, and you're describing that in a way that makes it clear what he's feeling. So another example, over on the right. 2 different ways to say the same thing. Tears roll down his face, he sits alone in the dark kitchen, or he cries in the dark kitchen. It's not that one is better than the other, it just depends on what you want to show. If it's not very important that he's crying alone in the kitchen, then you can probably use the bottom one. He cries in the kitchen. But if this is a pivotal moment, and you want to up the tension, increase the importance of that moment, expand it, give it more space, then you use the top one. Tears roll down his face, he sits alone in the dark kitchen. And then you're also implying shots that people can envision in their mind. Tears roll down his face, probably a close-up. Sits alone in the dark kitchen, probably a wide shot. Or that could be one long shot, where you start in a close-up, and then you pull back to show him alone into a wide shot. See, isn't that much better to read than saying, we slowly pull back to reveal? Let's look at some more options. She walks blissfully down the aisle, or bliss radiates from her face as she floats down the aisle. So the top one, blissfully, is describing her walk, and we are focused on her walking and the aisle. So that kind of seems like it's a wider shot than the one below it. Bliss radiates from her face. So we have the word face in there, so it makes us think that it's a medium or a close-up. So you're providing focus in the word that you use. And she floats down the aisle. Float is, of course, a much more specific word than walk, and implies more emotion than just walking. Floats down the aisle is better than walks blissfully, even if walks blissfully is better than just walks. And then let's look at the bottom option. She floats down the aisle, her face radiates bliss. It's another way to expand time. You're spacing it out, you're building the tension, and you have these 2 different images, one after the other, which could imply 2 different shots or a dynamic shot where it changes composition. Once you understand all of this, and you can see how powerful these tools are to crafting a screenplay that tells the story, not just in proper formatting, but in formatting that elevates the script and the story.
I hope this introduction to visual storytelling will help you write more excellently, but I should let you know that this video just kind of scratches the surface on what it truly takes in order to write visually and thus stand out in a sea of other screenwriters. So if you want to learn how to apply these types of next level techniques to your scripts, including ones that I didn't talk about here today, then I'll show you how, step by step, in my comprehensive online course called Scriptsmithing Mastery. Link down below in the description. See you there.